Boo!
Some damn fine Coke Zero, and I'm going to start the stories off tonight. So last week we had this theme of creeps. So what did you say? Creepy people being creepy?
Being creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I found another creepy story that I'm going to share tonight, and this one's called Creep on the Train. So yeah, it's not like snakes on a plane or snakes on a train. It's creep on a train. So I'll kick things off this evening. Let me get the music going here. I almost forgot.
Yeah, can't forget the music. The recipe ain't right until you make it right.
All right, I'm going to kick it off. So this is creep on the train, not to be confused with snakes on a plane or creep on a plane. This is a creep on a train. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. I've been reading these stories for a while, and I had an encounter a few weeks ago that I thought was worthy to share. I'll put some info about myself. I'm a female, mid-20s, about 5'7", and 130 pounds. I'm not tiny, but I'm not big either. I work overnights at the airport from 8 p.m. until 4:15 a.m., and I use the train to get from where I park to where I work. Usually I don't feel unsafe because I only go to one stop, to the parking garage employees use, and at the time the train is pretty crowded with employees that time of the morning, going to and from work. This morning, however, my husband was supposed to pick me up, but he overslept, so I had decided to ride a train to the bus stop about 20 minutes down the line, then take the bus stop closest to my house and walk from there. Unfortunately, this was about 2 miles. Anyway, the train was fairly crowded when I first boarded. As I sat down near the back, I noticed a scraggly young guy chatting with some of the flight attendants who were on the ride. By scraggly, I mean he had long, dirty hair, a dirty beard, and even though he had dark skin, I could tell his hands were very dirty. Since all kinds of people work at the airport, I assumed this guy worked for the same airline as a mechanic, a baggage handler, or something along those lines, which would honestly explain why his hands were dirty. I knew them, the attendants, so I didn't pay much attention beyond a glance. I popped my headphones in, pulled out my book, and started reading. The train pulled into the next stop, and all the airport employees got off. As the train pulled away, I looked up and realized the train was entirely empty, except for me and that scraggly man. This wouldn't normally have been a problem, except he was blatantly staring right at me. Not just a few glances, but actually wide-eyed staring at me. Oddly enough, his mouth was open too. I got extremely uncomfortable, but since I was on the one end of the train and he was on the other, I tried to go back to reading and hoped he would confine his weirdness to staring and nothing more. Unfortunately, he did not. As soon as I looked away, he started moving towards me. He stopped at the end of my row of seats, turned towards me, gripping the overhead bar above me, and stared some more. I kept trying not to look at him because I was afraid that eye contact would be interpreted as an invitation to do something more than stare, like possibly have a conversation. I certainly did not want that. He sat down in the row across the aisle, then got up and moved to the seat directly behind me. I still refused to look at him, but he must have leaned really close to me because I could feel his breath moving my hair. Then I felt his finger lightly running down the side of my neck. I'm not ashamed to admit that I nearly pissed myself, and I jerked violently away. Over my music, I heard him hiss like a snake. Then when I decided I was probably a few seconds away from getting assaulted, stabbed, or possibly even both, the train was nearing the next stop. So I made a plan. I got a tight grip on all my stuff, and as soon as the doors opened, I shot out of my seat and out of the door as fast as I could, and I booked it into the second car. I peeked out the window to see if he had followed me. To my horror, I saw him leaning out the door of the first car, looking up and down the dark, deserted station area. Thankfully, he must not have seen me get into the second car, because I saw him stomp his foot, I saw his mouth move, and pull back into the train as the door closed. I'm not a lip reader, but it was very easy to see what he had said before he ducked back inside. Effing cunt. By the time the train got to the bus station, my panic phone calls had already woken up my husband, and he met me there in the car. I have no idea what the scraggly guy intended to do when he got off at the bus station, but I'm glad I didn't have to find out by enduring a longer bus ride with him. Since this happened, and I realized how utterly defenseless I would have been if it would have gone beyond staring and a very little creepy finger touch. I enrolled in kickboxing. I'm only a few weeks in, but now I can throw a mean right jab and kick combo. So creepy guy on the train, let's not meet again. If we do, you're getting your teeth knocked out.
He said it wasn't snakes on a plane, but he hissed like a snake.
Yeah, I forgot about that part, huh? What are the odds of that? Oh my gosh.
That's a creepy dude. Yeah.
A lot of comments in the chat about how freaky he is. The hissed, they picked up on the hiss right away. Somebody said, guy thought he was charming. What would he expect by doing that? I don't know. It's not actually funny either, though.
No, it's not. It's
pretty messed up.
That's a creepy guy that needs to be put in his place.
You know, it seemed innocent at first, right? Just some weird ass dude in like the back of the bus. He's talking with people, so you probably think not much about it. Like, hey, maybe they know him or something. But then just to get increasingly closer to where you're sitting is so creepy. I think the climax of the creepiness, how do you like the way that sounds, was the feeling the breath, like his breath was moving her hair.
Yeah. Wow. Freaking weirdo. I would definitely continuing the creepy people being creepy theme from last week.
Yeah, it could have definitely fit in last week perfectly. We had a full list of great things, including the dancing bushman, but creep on a train. How do you feel about it?
That was nuts. Someone here, this Trish person mentioned that, yeah, what if he was just, trying to tell something or something like the guy in Urban Legends movie.
You're talking like that movie from the 90s?
It's what I believe they brought up, yeah. The one where, like, there's someone in the back seat and he's, like, trying to tell her, but he can't get it out because he's got, like, a slight speech impediment and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, she could lip read what he said later.
Yeah. He was a monster. He needs to be definitely put down and,
I mean, certainly if he had a speech impediment like that, he couldn't get that mad at her, right? To try to, like, chase her off the train and...
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said it. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah. I didn't even know you could see the fucking chat, Luke. We've been doing this for 6 months.
I just now figured out how to do it.
That makes it a lot easier.
The last go, I was like, oh, there's a button that just says comments.
I'd say, I've been hauling the load the whole time here, and you didn't say a word to me.
Oh, I didn't know that was there. I was like, I thought maybe you had something special over on your end.
Pretty special, let me tell you. Not as special as this creepy guy, though.
No, this guy was something else.
Luke, I always ask you this awkward question of what would you do in that situation?
Well, that's really weird. You
say, get out here.
If I was a man in that situation, my personal self in that situation, yeah, I was probably like, get the hell away from me. What the hell?
Yeah.
But, I could definitely see someone else and, someone smaller or, and this guy is definitely creepy. Getting away is just the best course of action.
But this is what you'd want to do, though.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ah! I'm insane with anger! We're gonna beat your ass! We're gonna tear your head off! I'm losing my mind! It's time for an whooping! I cursed. I heard.
Yeah, I actually think about that scene pretty often.
Why would you think about that scene pretty often?
Well, actually, because it was,
I'm insane with anger.
Not long while back, I guess maybe like 7 years ago, our business was robbed. I don't know if you knew about that.
No.
Someone had broken in and they stole the money from the registers. And, we came in that day, we had to do a sweep of the building because we didn't know if someone was still in there because, like, we didn't have cameras at the time. It was a whole bunch of stuff. And so, like, part of me was like, maybe we should just yell out, like, in signs to, like, try to force anyone who might be in hiding out. We probably would, I don't know, we were pretty angry, and there were, like, 4 of us, so we could have, we would have beat the person up. Yeah, I do think about that every once in a while, because I think about that day fairly often, just go into a fit of rage.
Well, brother, we won't make you rage too much.
Jeff Townsend Media. CG, good night.
And the question is, do I stay here? Will you be back? Are you gonna come back? Will you be back? Are you coming back?